History is being made rapidly, and I have here with me, whether he likes the title and the accolade or not, a journalist who occupies a peculiarly distinctive position as a historian of John F. Kennedy and the Kennedy administration. This is Theodore H. White, who wrote the best-selling book called The Making of the President, which won a Pulitzer Prize for its journalistic and reportorial excellence. A tour de force in the estimation of this, the humble estimation of this journalist. And it's only appropriate that Mr. White, who is down here on a special assignment, be asked not to give his private thoughts about this sad interval at the moment, but to measure Kennedy, the man, as he knew him, and he knew him as well or better than most of us who covered him from day to day. Teddy, neither one of us thought at the time, 3 years ago this very month, minus about 2 weeks, that we would be again together today in a completely different set of circumstances. You recall that we spent the night in Hyannisport at the Armory covering the exciting and then inconclusive returns, which finally resulted days later in the election of John F. Kennedy. But I remember vividly that you and I walked back to our miserable little motel quarters along with Larry O'Brien at 4 o'clock that morning. And we weren't sure, nobody was sure at that point what the outcome was. Now we've got an outcome which we are sure of. In this interval, as you have observed and watched Kennedy, the campaigner, the candidate, the president-elect, and the president, what is there about him that struck you most?
I suppose it would sound odd, but his kindliness. He had such a misgiven reputation for ruthlessness and harshness. He was a joy bringer, a man of gaiety. You could not sit with him at the table except to be warm. Sometimes you had to remind yourself that this was the President of the United States. He had such a tremendous range of qualities. I suppose he appeared to many of us, to dozens of people, to express best what they thought. You remember that night at Hyannisport? I think very few people remembered. It just came to me now what he said that morning when he accepted the election. He said, "The margin is thin, but the responsibility is clear." And that responsibility he so nobly advanced and so clearly saw that he will go down, I know, as one of the greatest presidents in American history. And most people will not recognize that for another decade hence.